Unlike Britain, the US has hospitals across the country dedicated to treating veterans. This is the main one in the centre of Chicago. These veterans are using art therapy in much the same way that our guys do back home.
I mean, years and years and years, I didn't know what was wrong with me. You know, I thought I was just crazy.
The uncontrollable rage, the nightmares, I didn't know what it was.
R.C. Hardy has been using art therapy now for 4 months. He's an ex-Marine and Vietnam vet with PTSD.
There's nights that I don't go to sleep at all, you know, because sometimes I get frightened. I walk down, I just get frightened for no apparent reason.
His artwork expresses emotions and experiences which seem timeless and universal to many a veteran of conflict.
I painted this here the other day to indicate what actually goes on with a vet. A young person goes to war or combat. You see people, skin blown away, face off. You know, at one time I actually dug up dead bodies, you know, in Vietnam. And these things right here bothers him. He dreams of this, and they're in his mind forever. On the inside of the mask, you can see.
So you've got drugs, cigarettes,
pills, drugs, dope. You got, you know, everything that's in there that the vets use to hide behind if they're not taking medication.
How much of a fight would you put up if I said to you, I'm going to take away your brushes and you can't paint again?
Okay, I can't paint no more?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put up a pretty big fight.
Would you?
Yeah, I would put up bigger, because you're telling me that I can't actually express myself. I express myself through my art. And you telling me I can't express myself? This is like taking away my freedom of speech. What if I told you you can't talk anymore? So you can't talk anymore.
I'd try and fight you.
Yeah, you would.
It wouldn't last long, but I'd try.
It was the terrible human fallout from America's time in Vietnam which led to PTSD being diagnosed. It also fueled a new symbiosis between art and the experience of war, creating something quite special.
Here in downtown Chicago, there's a building I've heard about for ages, which I've just got to go and see. This is the National Veterans Art Museum in Chicago, originally founded by some Vietnam veterans. What makes this place unique is that every piece here has been created by someone who's seen war.
Although established by Vietnam vets, the museum now also includes works reflecting more recent American conflicts.
This piece is called Sand Angel, and it was made by an American serviceman who was out in Iraq in the first Gulf War, and had come across an injured Iraqi serviceman who was dying and whose arms were flailing out. What really makes this piece so haunting is that it's not a piece of make-believe. You know that the artist was a soldier who had this image running through his head for years from something he'd actually seen, which he felt compelled to get out, and this is the result.
One of the founders of the museum is Vietnam vet Joe Finelli. Joe was a crew chief on a Huey helicopter, one of the most dangerous jobs in the war. In the field, Joe felt compelled to capture the chaos around him using whatever he could lay his hands on. He created this delicate image using split bamboo and dried coffee.
Maybe subconsciously, I was like making notes because I did want people to know what I witnessed. I did it with my artwork.
What role do you think art can have in helping someone who's been in conflict to heal the trauma?
Well, you know what? It opens up things that are closed, and they shouldn't be closed off inside of these individuals. They should understand that there's other people like them. That helps.
Another one of the artists on display here is fellow Vietnam vet Bill Crist.
I love this museum. I know that I'm not alone, where I used to think I was just the Lone Ranger out there and couldn't deal with anything, couldn't talk about anything, you know.
Bill was a pacifist who was conscripted into the infantry and developed severe PTSD after the conflict.
You know, I thought once you come home and everything's gonna be fine, and it's not that way. It's not that way at all.
His works were created using art therapy during time spent in a psychiatric ward. They graphically depict the memories which still haunt him.
And I was unconscious. That's how powerful that explosion was. I told the people in charge in psych ward up there, I'll draw these. I said, because a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I won't have to talk about it anymore. Wrong. The more I drew, the more I talked. After I got out of the infantry, I went to 1st Aviation and became a medic. This guy walked in the tail end of a chopper. I don't know what happened. He didn't see it or didn't hear it, but the tail rotor was going full bore, full speed. And it went right into his head and just ripped the whole top of his head off. And his brains were all over the ground. I'm not ashamed to say I was crying and throwing up at the same time. That was an extremely traumatic experience for me, very traumatic.
The art is where the power is, and the art is what created the museum. You know, as great as it is, was it worth one life? You know, and I think what we all want, the survivors like myself, is we all want to make sure that the ones that didn't make it are always remembered.
One of the most striking exhibits here, perhaps the centerpiece of the whole museum, is this. It's a monument to every American soldier who died in Vietnam, and it's a replica of every single soldier who died dog tag, starting in that corner back in 1957 and working its way in chronological order all the way to that corner to 1975. On each dog tag, the name of a service person who died in Vietnam, more than 58,000. An incredible amount of effort has gone into making this. It's taken 2 years to individually punch each dog tag. What's truly extraordinary is what each one represents.
I'll tell you, Tim, I just thought of something. That memorial was never really a part of this exhibit or design in the beginning, but isn't it an underline of the whole thing? They're the ones that didn't make it. I just thought of it now.
It's an incredibly powerful piece.
Yeah. Yeah. See, we all know somebody on it.
Looking around at this stuff, I'm, on the one hand, in awe of it. On the other hand, pretty jealous, thinking that, you know, we should have something like this in the UK, a dedicated museum for art by veterans.
I'll tell you, you know what, it's natural. If somebody planted the seed and nourished it, it would grow like crazy. Because it's natural that this should happen to me.
It does seem natural, and such a positive and public way to channel experiences which most of us would find unimaginable. Surely our guys back home deserve a similar platform. A public exhibition might be a good start.